It's not often we venture into the world of science fiction on this show, but this evening is different. We're delighted to welcome one of Canada's foremost science fiction authors, a woman who is on a mission, Kaz Lefave. Welcome to What She Said.
Thank you, and welcome, Kate. Thank
you. Now, before we even get to sci-fi, you've had more careers than a family of 10. Tell us where you started and the winding path you have been on.
Well, I started in engineering, so I went to Queen's University and studied electrical engineering and computer science. And I worked for a number of years as a computer software engineer, and different facets of the actual engineering life cycle. And at a certain point, I realized that I wasn't really getting where I wanted to be in life, and I took a year off, so I started writing some music. And I had a band for 2 weeks. So 2 weeks? That didn't work. I took singing lessons. I was like, no. But I really I enjoyed the writing part of it.
Right.
And so I did that for a while. And then what happened after doing that writing, I decided I was not going to go back into IT. And I went back to school in fashion because I was really interested in doing costumes. I was starting to do stuff at Halloween. So I went to the Richard Robinson Fashion Design Academy in Ottawa and learned all the haute couture techniques. So all the handwork, I just loved it. So I went from a 2-year program there, and then I opened a boutique in Ottawa. At first I did it out of my home, and then I opened a boutique in Yorkville. And I did gowns. So my teachers were saying I'm more building a bridge because they're very, very complex, more like puzzle-like with lots of different interpretations. So I had a collection of musical instruments.
A bit of engineering going into the design.
I was very much a pattern-based person on the flat. Less of the sculpting, that's what they call draping, and it was very precise. So I had all these pieces and puzzles, and I would do all these mixes of silks and come up with all these gowns that were really objects. And then from that, didn't quite work. I went into hypnosis and personal training, really into the health field. I started to dabble a little bit in an IT product that wasn't a health field I was working on. At the same time, the story was coming, this world, and I was investigating water and the meaning of water and Masaru Emoto's work as well.
Well, the Nemecene series is a trilogy with the third and final book to be released next year. Tell our listeners what this story is about, this dystopian ecosystem we're going to enter.
Well, it's in our future where oceans have died. They have gone anoxic, which means that there's very low oxygen or no oxygen in depths. So that's really what's happening right now in the world. And so follows a set of twins, girl and boy, from the age of 18 to 27. And they start off looking for answers about their mother's death, who's died in the psych ward, and the daughter's having the same problems. So as they discover the answers, or as they're looking for the answers and trying to understand where they fit in the world, they discover that they're the key to something really big that's happening, and it has to do with their mother. So they're on a path to discovery of what the meaning, and the world is changing at the same time, and it's kind of a big brother society. Some people know who the twins are. There's a bunch of subcultures that think they know. So it's a big mystery, murder mystery, discovery of what the meaning of water is in a universe and what we are.
But the message behind it is very powerful. What's the end goal for you?
The end goal is to connect people with water as not as a commodity, but as an entity, because water has a lot of very interesting properties that we're just discovering now. So Masaru Emoto's work talks about water and memory, that water can actually maintain the memory of something through your intention. Your thoughts are intention, and they create vibrations, and water can capture those vibrations. Water also has the behavior to, if you play certain music to it, not music, but a signature of a virus, and you give water the elements of the proteins, it can recreate the DNA based on the sequencing. It's really quite amazing. It does a lot of weird things in space. And the way it exists for us, it's everywhere in every state at all times. So there's a little bit more to water than we would imagine. So my goal is to connect people with water at a more visceral level through movies as well. And if we love water and understand water and are empowered as well as part of the subculture in the story, there's an empowerment movement that we will start to care, and we will avoid the dystopian world that I kind of see coming.
So you also created Aguacene. That's an eco-publishing company. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Aguacene as well as a play on water, epoch of water. My goal is to not leave an impact. So part of the Aguacene mission is to publish with the best, the highest paper, like the FSC paper, and publish it without plastics and the products to stay environmental and plastics that are part of the whole mission. So Aguacene itself also has a fund at Tides Canada, and I'm funding water projects. So my first concentration is in the north, in the Beaufort Sierra, Mackenzie River, and so I'm focusing on that for now.
What do we need to know about water in our world? What would you like people to know, take away from this one thing, if you could just tell them one thing?
I would say treat water like you would treat your own child or your own self, because it's not a commodity. It's not a right. It's not to be sold. It's actually who we are. And we are water. So if we would hurt ourselves, that doesn't really make sense. So if you think of water as being who you are, it's everywhere. We're in it. We are water. We are just a manifestation of water. Then would we do what we're doing to it?
Why do you think it is that you obviously feel that a lot of human beings don't have any respect or don't really appreciate the value of water?
Well, the way we're treating water in the sense of industry, we're fracking, and that is a big, big polluter. We're farming and sending crap essentially into our oceans, open sewage. We're selling and bottling water, taking it from regions and putting it elsewhere, making profit over water. And, taking away from the animals as well. I mean, it's not just humans that are on the planet. So we don't really treat water as part of our own self. We treat it as something that we just put in our body, we buy, we move around. It's not part of us as a being. We don't really understand.
Right. Yeah. Now, you have a vision to take Nemecene to a new, beyond 3D experience.
I'd like to have a connection in a way it's not a 3D movie, but you're actually drawn into it and you are part of the experience. So I see it as more of an event, maybe a theater event that involves 3D as a modality, but involves much more. Just in the way that the cinematography is taken, just the way you become involved in it instead of it being a spectator. I'm not sure logistic-wise how it's going to happen, but there's technology out there that can, and it's just going to get better.
Now, you're going to be appearing at the 23rd Annual Fan Expo Canada, the largest comic, sci-fi, horror, anime, and gaming event in Canada. That's from August 30th to September 3rd. How much fun is that going to be?
That's always a lot of fun. Oh, my God. I mean, because of the part where I was doing costuming, I love cosplay. I love watching people come in with their costumes. So I'm back there at booth 503, but I get to see everybody walk by and all that. I just have to be behind the table. Sort of thing. But it's fun. It really is fun.
So where can your fans connect with you and your cause?
Well, they can connect if they go to nemecene.com. That's nemecene.com. That's the major website. Or they can go to Lead the Creed, which would be the movement, leadthecreed.com. And that's part of this movement that's empowering. So there's a value system.
Lead the Creed.
Lead the Creed. So this is all part of the subculture called the Gadlins, and it's empowering people to have a value system of gratitude, unity, nurture, opulence, trust, and honor. So with that value system, we can actually empower ourselves. By caring about ourselves, we can empower the world as well.
So that's how you're building out from the storyline into the real world.
Yeah. And through providing that's not only about water, it's about a value system, which is really personal development and empowerment, and showing that, if you have these values, we're not going to be killing each other. We're not going to be, in this lack mentality. Yeah.
If there were one thing you would ask people to do, and I know this is going to be hard for you, what would it be?
Ditch the plastic bottles. Do not use plastic, nothing.
Don't buy bottled water.
Do not buy bottled water. Go to manufacturers and ask them to change their packaging. Better yet, let them do the whole full cycle. Take the packaging back, get the jars. I mean, it's very difficult. Even I buy organic, and it all comes in plastic. It's really people going and saying, no, I refuse your packaging. So I implore people who are in manufacturing to come out with packaging and then take over that market. They're going to wake up.
Yeah, I mean, we fill up our bottles, but they're still plastic. But we don't buy bottled water.
No. Yeah. Yeah, no, I drink from the tap.
Yeah, me too. Mm.
You know, it's fine.
So they can find out all about this again at kazlefave.com.
I have a blog that I'm putting together. So right now it's going to direct you to the Facebook, but I am putting that together as an aggregate of what I'm doing. And then leadthecreed.com will get them into the world. They can sign up. And when they sign up, they get their own biochip number. That's also part of the story. And they can invite friends. It gets attached to them. And I'm growing these circles. So it's going to turn into a big game as well. So I'm doing it through engagement. And it's multimedia. There's games coming out and there's all sorts of
Knowing you is very complicated, but lots of fun.
It's very fun.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
This is what she said. We'll be right back.